Hi, Anthony here from West Coast Custom Concrete. Today we'll be in San Clemente, California. Here's a view from the backyard. We're going to be doing a demo, uh, a big patio with big footings and a fire pit in the side of this house with a Bobcat S250 and an 800-pound breaker. This job's a perfect example of why you got to have the right equipment. This is like 5, 6, 7, 8. Some of it's 10 inches thick with number 3 rebar all connected and number 4 down the side of the house in some of the areas. And that's a solid fire pit that's about 2 feet deep. And I mowed right through it with this S250. If you're going to be planning on doing a commercial and bigger jobs or jobs like this, and this is the ultimate demo machine right here, this 250. This is a 2008. It's got about 300 hours on 3,000 hours, excuse me, on it. Here I am just putting the breaker on. It's an 800-pound breaker. I think it's a Kent breaker. It's a pretty good breaker. You can dry fire it without lifting the front end of the Bobcat up. That's what I like. And then that's a fire pit right there with 2 foot deep footings around it. You'll see. I'm going to take the slab out. So after I get the slab out, I'm going to come back and load all the concrete and load the truck. That'll be one full load. And then I'm going to come back and pull all these footings in this fire pit in the side over there. This is about 2,100 square feet. It's about 2 full Super 10s. And then I got to dig the whole backyard down 8 inches because I'm doing pavers in the whole backyard. So I charged about $275 a square foot for this. So that was about $5,700, I think. And then I charged $800 to dig down the backyard and haul the dirt. So it came to about 66, 6,700. So it took me about 7 hours and I made about $5,200 off it one day. And when you're breaking this rebar, you can break it and see where the grit is, where they tied it. And then you hit with the breaker right on the rebar and knock the concrete off of it. And I lift the rebar out of the concrete with the breaker. And then my guys come and pick it up where I'm breaking it. Because if you leave the rebar in it, you can't get anything in the truck. There's so many voids and you got to pull the rebar out as you're breaking. You just hit it right on top of it. Because when you're loading it, you can get impaled or hit in the eye or in the chest with the rebar coming in the cab. So I punch each piece right off the concrete, off the rebar, sorry. I can see right where the grid is, where they tied it. I know it's 2 foot on center. So I'm just breaking it and knocking the concrete right off of it. But if you're going to do a commercial, and like I do parks and hospitals and schools, and I do these residential and video deals in between my other jobs. And if you don't have the right equipment, you better hope it's 3 or 4 inches or just run a mom and pop operation. But if you have the right equipment, 3 other guys bid this other than me, and they were all $2,000 higher than me, at least 2 of them. But they wouldn't have done it one day. So I literally made more than they did by myself, which is me and the tractor there. This is like nothing to me. So if you have the right stuff and you learn how to run it, you will make money with it. So I'm hitting it right on the grid where they tied it together. Boom, and that fireplace coming up, and that I evidently saw an engineer own this place. The guy who owns the house now told me. So he overbuilt everything. Here it is here, and I'm doing pavers the whole backyard, and the side of the house is concrete. Here's the end of the slab here. I'm almost done with it, and I'm going to haul it all. I'll get it in one load, and then when the truck's gone, I'll break the other side, pop the footings, and I'll stockpile it all over here on this property. This property is cool because it has access both sides of the house. I could go out either way. See, I'm not even lifting the tires. You can dry fire with all 4 down. I'm just working it right on the rebar, punching all the rebar out of it. Super dangerous if you don't get the rebar. And then these slabs here, this guy poured them like 6, 7 inches thick and used number 4 in them. So I'm just moving them where I'm not away from the house out on the pile, and I'll break it out here, just slide it out here. And he put gangs of just rebar in this stuff. It was high PSI too, but this 800-pound breaker, I could keep up with a backhoe, a medium excavator with a breaker. This is the ultimate demo machine right here. So I'm just going to slide them away from the house because if I break it up there, then I have uneven terrain to break the rest. So I'm just pushing these pieces back here with the other concrete, and then I could go around the house and come back up and start loading it. Going out the other way is grass, so I don't want to put tire marks on all this concrete going up this way. So I'm going to go around and load it off that side. But this didn't deter me, all this rebar and how thick he poured it. I mean, it just slowed me down a little bit, punching the rebar out of it. And this thing, the guy put like a wood shed on it, but it was like 10 inches thick with number 4. And to the right of the screen, those pieces aren't coming out. I poured that RV ramp a couple months ago. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a zipper down the middle of it, and I'm just grabbing it with the breaker and ripping the rebar so it's not connected to this side, so it won't spall to the right of the screen, those pieces. So I ripped the rebar with the breaker right here. I just hooked it and then drove forward, and it'll snap it. It was snapping number 3 and number 4. And here I'm putting a score in it to put a crack in it right there. So when I break it, I can move the whole piece. It just cracked it right where I just scored it, so I can loosen it up and put a void in it. And once you score it, you can loosen put a the breaker right where you put a crack in it and loosen it a little bit. See, this stuff's super thick, and this stuff has so much rebar. And that piece against the house, so I got to come back and get too. And that thing's like 10 inches thick. There's so much rebar in this thing; it's crazy. In that where I'm at right there, that existing stand. So you got to be careful along that line because it's connected. The rebar goes from where I'm at into that slab, but I ripped it in the middle, so I don't have to worry about the other side popping up on me. And there's a gas line right there, but evidently I'm going to go for it and keep breaking around it. So I'm gonna put a bunch of break that for a while and then just come and take that piece out by hand. Here I am loading it out. I came around the other side. I'm going to load all this up, and then when he's gone to the dump, I'm going to take all the footings in the fireplace out and then have it all stockpiled right where I'm at right there. There's all the rebar that I punched out there. And then when the truck comes back again, I'm going to dig the patio down when he's taking the second load to the dump. I'm going to stockpile the dirt. And then when he comes back, I'm going to load him up and we're out of here. That's it. Took about 7 hours. I mean, I was on this thing for 7 hours straight. I never stopped because I knew that the dump closes at a certain time, and I got to get this done. And back here, when you keep coming down the driveway, it gets smaller than the bucket, so I had to hand load probably about a yard and a half, where I couldn't get in there. Yard and a half. It has access both ways, like I was saying, so it's perfect. If you want to make serious money and you're doing commercial or big dirt removals or concrete, this S250 is pretty impressive. Here's a fireplace this guy built that was, I don't know how deep he poured. It's just a fire pit, and there's footings all the way around it. So I'm going to pop them all up, and I'm going to push them over out of the way into the where I'm stockpiling. I'll break it over there, and I'll knock the rebar out of it. See, the crushing plant won't take pieces that big, or I'll just load it like that. But I'm going to break it and then just cut the rebar in half. Just break it right in half, and then have Javier or Milton come and just cut the rebar with a little angle grinder. Yeah, those footings he put for a fireplace. So when you're doing a job like this, you need to do it methodical. You got to know exactly, measure it, how much you're going to get in the first load and 2 loads, and stockpile it. Then when he's gone, break stuff like this out. So he's about a 40-minute round trip to the dump. So this took me about 25 minutes to get these footings out and break them. Evidently, some other guy came here and bid this and came out there and hit these footings and rolled his stuff up and left. I don't get it, but he probably had a smaller tractor or something. If you get the right stuff, I mean, you could do. There's no job this S250 won't do. You could literally break out anything. This has crap loads of rebar. It doesn't. It just slows you down a little bit. You just got to get it out. So I loaded all the concrete. Now I'm digging this backyard down, this patio, 8 inches for the pavers. I got about 4 or 5 videos I got to edit. I've been doing other stuff. I'll have these pavers and the concrete on the side. I got some pretty cool videos coming up. So I'm going to dig this out, and I'm going to stockpile it all right there until I got enough time to dig the whole patio out, and I'll stockpile it. I thought I was going to be real ambitious and get the base there today too, and spread the base back here, and then have the sand and the pavers delivered the next day. But I didn't get the base there that day. I gave up on it because I was pretty burned out. There you go. There's the before and the after on that. Thank you very much for watching The Best in the West.